Welcome back to Presence of Being. Welcome back to the Presence of Being podcast. Thank you for being here and for being a part of our community. I'm very grateful that you are here, listening, watching. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're listening to this. In today's recording, I want to talk all about the most significant thing that I feel like I've learned throughout my 4 years of university, and it was something that I learned in my last year of school. I remember it was in my ancient Greek philosophy class, and I was sitting in the front row, and we were talking about Aristotle. If you don't know who Aristotle was, he was an ancient Greek philosopher. And in this one class, specifically, we were talking about Aristotle's view on purpose. Now, the Greek word for purpose is telos. And Aristotle believed that everything in nature, everything that we see in nature has a specific telos or purpose. Aristotle believed that everything has a natural purpose, including humans. And for us, our purpose or our telos is to achieve what is called eudaimonia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Now, eudaimonia can be translated to flourishing or happiness. Now, happiness or flourishing isn't necessarily just all about feeling good or feeling happy all the time, moment to moment, but it's about living a virtuous life and fulfilling our potential as human beings. To break it down in a very simple way, Aristotle thought that our purpose as human beings was to fulfill our full potential and to live in virtuous ways, to become the best version of ourselves. And this happens by, like I said, living virtuously, whether that be keeping the promises you made to yourself, whether that be being kinder to yourself and other people, whether that be being more patient with yourself and other people, whether that be giving love more openly to others and yourself, and just engaging in activities that help you grow. Engaging in activities that are more in alignment with the kind of person you strive to become. When we align our words and our actions, and when we align our actions with our purpose, we experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. So I'm sitting here in the front row of my ancient Greek philosophy class, and I'm listening to my professor talk about this. And as someone who at the time is starting to get into self-development and wanting to better myself, obviously, this is something that piqued my interest. At the time, I was starting to develop a vision of what I saw myself doing out of school, but I would be lying if I said I had a perfect image in my mind of exactly how things are going to unfold or what exactly I am going to do. So maybe, looking back, I didn't really feel like I had a deep purpose or a deep sense of why I should do the things that I'm doing or why I should pursue X, Y, or Z. I didn't know what my purpose was. Maybe in the moment I thought I did, but I probably didn't. Or my vision has at least grown and developed so much since that point that I can confidently say, looking back now, that the vision was very vague. And I'm sitting in that class learning about purpose and what Aristotle has to say about purpose. And it gave me comfort knowing that I have a purpose. I didn't know exactly what that purpose was. I knew I could get on the right track to knowing that purpose, but in the moment, I didn't necessarily know what it was. And I'm sitting here listening to my professor talk about how everything in nature has a purpose, whether it's us, human beings, your neighbor, or a flower, a plant. Everything in nature has a purpose. Now, it's important to keep in mind, like I said, when Aristotle talks about eudaimonia or flourishing or happiness as our purpose, it's not about temporary pleasure. It's about living a life of virtue, fulfilling our potential and achieving what it is we feel called to do as human beings, achieving our highest good. When we act in ways that not only contribute to our own growth, but to the growth and well-being of other people, we're fulfilling our purpose. And of course, if you listen to these recordings, you know how I always like to tie in the importance of living in the present moment through whatever topic we're talking about. Now, our telos or purpose isn't a specific goal you achieve in the future, at the end of your life or in some far off future distant place. It's an ongoing process of growth and living our purpose in the present moment. If we're constantly thinking about the future, dwelling on some past, being anxious about something that happened in the past, or being anxious thinking about something that may happen in the future, we're missing out on opportunities right here, right now to practice the virtues that I mentioned in the moment, like being kinder to yourself and other people, giving love more openly to yourself and other people, keeping the promises you made to yourself, just being a good person, being kind. When you're dwelling on the past or being anxious about something that may happen in the future, you miss out on opportunities right here, right now, in this moment to live virtuously. Our awareness is either in the past or in the future. So we miss out on opportunities to start looking for ways we can start becoming more in alignment with the person that we want to be or the places that we want to get to, and start acting in ways that help us get closer to where it is we want to get to. When we are present, it helps us notice the small opportunities for growth in everyday situations. When we shift our focus on making the most out of each moment and being grateful for the now rather than stressing about the past or the future, we're more in alignment with who it is we want to be. We're more aware of opportunities that are in the now that help us get to where it is we want to go. And I'm emphasizing this because it's very, very important. In today's world, we often focus on external things, external markers of success and achievements. Aristotle reminds us that our telos, or our purpose, isn't about what it is we have or the kind of things that we accumulate, but it's more about how we actually live day to day, how we live presently. Real, lasting fulfillment comes from aligning your daily actions with virtues that nourish your character and help us grow as individuals. Our purpose is something that we live day to day in each moment, not something that we strive for somewhere in the future. It's not something that we get when we reach a certain milestone somewhere in the distant future. So many people are stuck thinking about the past or the future. They obsess over the past and the future. But living with purpose ultimately requires you to be more in the now, because you miss the opportunity to grow and practice living virtuously when you're stuck in here, constantly thinking about what's to come or what happened. A perfect example that I think can really sum this up well. We talked about kindness being a virtue, being kind to yourself and other people. If you are more kind to yourself and other people, you're living more virtuously, which means you're living on purpose. You don't need to wait for some far off, distant destination to be kind to someone, to help someone out. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to be kind to someone or to help someone. Every single day, when you are more present, when you live more presently, you're going to be more aware of opportunities to act in those virtuous ways, to help someone, to give someone a hand, to ask someone if they need help with something, to listen more attentively to what someone's saying. Every moment, every single second, when you live presently, provides us with a chance to live more in alignment with our highest purpose. Now, according to Aristotle, the purpose of life in this sense isn't achieved in some far off destination in the future. It's found ultimately within every single moment. Whether it's listening, like I said, more attentively to what someone else is saying, whether it's just being more engaged in whatever it is you're fully doing right here, right now, in the present moment, slow down and actually engage fully in what you're doing. Be here now. Be here now. When you slow down and you aren't rushing through life, you actually start to embrace the process, embrace your journey. You start to come to the realization that there is no end goal. The fulfillment comes from actually being here and now and experiencing this moment. By being more present, being more mindful, we open ourselves up to growth, and we open ourselves up to becoming more in alignment with our telos, or our purpose, right here, right now, in the moment. The more present we are in each moment, and the more we live in accordance with our purpose, which is to be virtuous individuals and to do things that ultimately help our growth, to do things that are more in alignment with the kind of person we ultimately want to be, the more fulfilled we will be. Stop waiting for some far off, distant destination. Stop thinking that you need to achieve something or accumulate something to feel fulfilled. Fulfillment can happen when you're just going for a walk by yourself, enjoying the moment. Fulfillment can come when you're making that cup of tea before you go to bed, or you're just attentively listening to someone in conversation. When you're actually fully engaged in the now, you'll find that fulfillment, because the present moment is all that we have. And it's a beautiful thing that should be cherished and appreciated. So some actionable piece of advice in this recording is to focus more on being in the moment and ask yourself, how can I live more virtuously? How can I live a more virtuous life? Whether that be being more patient, being more honest, having more self-discipline, whether that be forgiveness, whether that be being more empathetic. How can you start looking for ways today, right here, right now, things that you can start incorporating into your life, like right after you listen to this or watch this, so you can incorporate these virtues into your life and start living a life more on purpose. Again, you don't need to wait for some future point. It starts today. It can start today. It starts in this moment. You know how a lot of people say you don't need to wait for the conditions to be perfect to start taking action towards getting to your goals, for example. I'm sure I've said that before. The same thing is true here. You don't need to wait until you get something. You don't need to wait until you accumulate something or achieve something to be a kind person, to live more virtuously, to start being more empathetic to other people or yourself. So just remember that each moment provides us with the chance, with the opportunity to live in alignment with our highest purpose, which is to be virtuous and to act in ways that help us grow. If there's an opportunity for you to be kinder to yourself and other people today, take that opportunity. You don't need to wait. You can be kind. You can act in a more empathetic way. You can provide more value to someone by just being more grateful for their presence. Be more in the moment. Appreciate where you are right now on your journey and appreciate the things that you have around you. Show love and appreciation to those things, and that is just going to grow. We live more fulfilled lives, I feel like, when we start appreciating the present moment instead of just waiting for something to happen, instead of just waiting to get somewhere or achieve something or accumulate something in the future. And of course, when we no longer dwell on things that happened in the past. So fulfillment is here and now. Appreciate presence. Actually engage more fully with what it is you're doing in the now, whether it's making a cup of tea before you go to bed, or you're just engaging in conversation with someone, or you're out for a walk. Find more joy in the now. Be aware of the opportunities that present themselves in your life to be more virtuous, to be kinder to yourself and other people, to be more empathetic, like I said. And I think you'll find more peace, and I think you'll feel more whole as well and fulfilled. So that's really all I wanted to get across in this recording. I remember sitting in the front row of my ancient Greek philosophy class and listening to my professor talk about Aristotle and the fact that everything in nature has a purpose. That's like really cool to think about. If you feel like you don't have a purpose right now, or you don't know what that purpose is, maybe by spending more time in the present moment, you'll find out what that purpose is. Know that you do have a purpose. Everything in nature has a purpose. You have a purpose. The flower in your garden has a purpose. Everything is here for a reason. So hopefully that provides you with some comfort. Hopefully that provides you with, hopefully this provides you with some value. That's the goal, obviously, and to just promote presence. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of our community. If you have any questions or anything, you can always DM me. My DMs are always open. You can message me at Presence of Being on Instagram, or you can just message me on TikTok. So yeah, I hope you got some value from this. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps a lot. And yeah, thank you again, and I will see you in the next recording very soon.